Welcome to Nightmare Echoes. Listen, scream, and embrace your horror obsession. I'm your host, Eleazar, and today Jesse is here for the Christmas episode where we cover Terrifier 3. What lines does this movie not cross? Which demons are in which bodies? And what is the fate of Jonathan? If you dare follow us, all links in the description. Next week on the podcast, we have our end of the year review. Until then, a movie that brings in the festivities of Christmas, Terrifier 3. Hello everybody, welcome back to Nightmare Echoes. I'm your host, Eleazar. I'm joined again by Jesse. Jesse, how's it going?
Pretty good. What's shaking?
We're covering Terrifier 3 for Christmas, so happy Christmas, Jesse.
Ooh, Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, that one.
Or Scary Christmas.
Yeah, I like Christmas horror. I think that's fun. It's a fun, nice subgenre. This one is, again, written and directed by Damon Leone. He has worked on all these. He's done a lot of the special effects for the first two, but on this one, he hired other people to do it so he can take a step back because he had a higher budget and wanted to focus more on making like a solid film from the director point of view.
Yeah.
And since he had the budget, he could hire other people so he didn't have to do every role ever.
Okay.
Again, it stars David Hogg Thornton as Art the Clown, who is also in The Mean One, which is a Grinch horror movie. And he's also in Steamboat Willie. They came out this year. He's playing Mickey Mouse.
Fascinating.
But more the size of a mouse attacking humans.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Lauren Lavera again, who has been in a few other things. She was like a stand-in in the movie Split for Anna Taylor-Joy and the other girls there. So when you see her hand opening the door, it's Lauren Lavera's hand opening the door, which is kind of interesting. She got to start kind of like as a stand-in for different people. And then eventually she said in interviews that there's a room that people were asking her, is it true that you were so-and-so stunt double? It's like, that is not true. But somehow that got me a lot of work as stunt doubles because people just assumed I did stunt double work because of all her martial arts background.
Interesting.
So she got a lot of work because of it, which I think is kind of crazy. All right. This one had a budget of $2 million and made $90.3 million.
That is a hit.
Yeah, it did really well.
What was the budget for Terrifier 2? Because I thought that was already...
I think it might have been $1 million.
Okay.
But we can look it up right now.
Same order of magnitude. It just seems like, this one is even more.
Right. So Terrifier 2 had a budget of $250,000 and made $15.7 million.
Wow.
So,
surprised they didn't go even higher with this one.
Yeah, but it worked, I think. Or we'll discuss how you feel about it as we go. But anything you want to say about it before we dive into the movie?
Not really. I think it's probably better to just dive in.
Okay, cool. All right, so the movie opens up and we see that there's a house decorated for Christmas with lights outside, a big tree inside with presents, and it's like they're getting ready for Christmas coming. We see that there's 4 stockings hanging, so we know that it's a family of 4 people. We see a little girl named Juliet come in and tell her mom that she heard something on the roof.
And right off the bat at the beginning, I'm like, oh no, what's he going to do to the little girl? Right?
Yeah.
What are they going to do to the little girl?
Yeah. So the father, whose name is Mark, tells his wife, whose name is Jen, that he has to be up in 3 hours, so he asks her to take care of it. She goes and talks to her, convinces her it's too early for Santa because it's a few days till Christmas, but says that it might be his elves coming to check to make sure that the house is safe for Santa. She gets Juliet to agree to go back to bed by telling her that she'll put out milk and cookies for the elves.
At this point, I'm wondering, like, is he going to be an elf the whole movie?
Yeah.
You know, it's like...
That would have been funny. So Jen goes down to put the milk and cookies, and when she's about to go back upstairs, she notices the front door is left open, but instead of assuming anything bad is happening, she just blames her husband for leaving the door open, saying he didn't lock it. He's just annoyed because he wants to be asleep because he has to be awake in a little bit. And then we see the little girl get up a little bit later. She goes downstairs and she thinks she sees Santa. She goes to tell her brother he just wants to sleep. She doesn't understand what she's seeing is Art the Clown and his big bag of tricks. Although his bag of tricks is red this time.
Yay.
To be more festive.
It is festive.
He goes up towards Timmy's room, which is her brother, pulls out an axe, and we don't see it, but we hear as he chops Timmy up to little pieces. Then she watches as he walks over to her parents' room, and then while Jen is sleeping, he chops Mark up, and when she wakes up, he's doing this like silently laughing at her like, Looks like he would be like, ha, 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 but, he doesn't make a sound.
That's his usual thing because it's hilarious.
It's
Obviously,
hilarious.
I think it's interesting that they censored the child getting killed. It shows some restraint.
It does, though we do see his guts here in a minute.
I know.
We just don't see it get chopped up, right?
Yeah, but that's still something, right?
I agree.
It's
I agree.
almost like we're seeing there are lines that he still doesn't want to cross.
Yeah, people ask him all the time, is there a line? He's like, as long as it can be done somewhat tastefully, or it's not just gruesome for the sake of being gruesome.
Oh, come on. That's totally the whole series.
So you say that, but he gets two different arguments. But people complaining all the time about his movies, saying there's too much plot, they will only want gore, and there's people that are saying there's so much gore and there's no plot in these movies. And he there was a post that he posted on Twitter saying, "I will find a happy medium, people, I swear." But
See,
he can't make everybody happy.
Yeah, you can't. I guess I'd be more on the side of like I thought there was not enough plot in the first one. And the second one,
true.
I thought the second one was perfect. I didn't think there was anything to complain about.
I love the second one.
And I think he's maybe shifted the balance a little bit more toward the first one this time, but we can debate that.
Yeah, they lore dump all at once when they do in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the mom runs out, Jen runs out, yelling for her kids to run. She sees that her daughter's out of her bed. She runs to go see that Timmy's been chopped up. As she's running downstairs, Art chops her in the stomach. She hits the ground. He starts to chop her limbs off before she takes one to the head. Come all ye faithful plays as Art enjoys some milk and cookies before washing the dishes.
It's so nice of him to do that.
Right?
He's
like no one wants to wash the dishes. So then he's about to leave when he hears something. He looks up into the cabinet to see that Juliet's there, and he gives her a smile, but we don't see him kill her. So we don't know if he does or not.
I think that killing the little girl was too much for them. That was also probably just over the line for them.
Right. But hey, maybe she'll come back as some heroine in part 9.
Or maybe in the next one they'll cross that line too.
Yeah, maybe.
Who knows? I will say, just already it's clear right in the beginning of this movie, in order to be a proper Christmas movie, they're going to have to find some way to get a lot of green into this movie because there's already more than enough red.
There is a lot of red in this movie. You're not wrong.
And they also, I'm surprised you didn't mention the Shining reference.
Sure. He said that it wasn't his intention when he went into it. He said
the director or the actor?
The director.
Okay.
He said it wasn't his intention. He was actually homaging a Tales from the Crypt episode that he loved growing up about like a Christmas horror movie. And he mentions one of the Silent Night, Deadly Nights. But he says when it happened, it just felt like, oh, well, we're here. We might as well shoot this Shining reference, but it was not planned going ahead. But yeah,
spontaneous. Okay, that's even more fun.
That's kind of cool. Yeah, but totally. I'm gonna kind of summarize the scenes. If there's something you want to point out, just point it out because I'm sure I didn't capture everything.
Yeah,
it is a slightly over 2-hour movie, so it is a lot. And he says there's a lot that he had to cut out, which we'll talk about.
He must have just an endless fountain of horrifying ideas if he can cut that much out and still have that long of a movie.
Yeah, I think there's definitely for me 2 things that I felt were necessary to the plot that he cut, and we just like, oh, that already happened, and we didn't see it.
Okay,
which we'll get to towards the end. I'll talk about it.
I have to wonder if at this point in the story, like, it seems too perfect. He was there. He had all. Like maybe he really is Santa, right? Like, maybe the world is just darker than we think it is, and like all these characters like Santa and the Easter Bunny, they all exist. They're just not as nice as we were taught they were when we were kids.
Sure. Right. Okay. All right. So we cut to 5 years earlier. We pick up where the last film ended, where we saw that Art's head was born out of Victoria. We see his headless body still there at the Terrifier when a cop walks in to report that there's been a murder. Shortly after that, we see that Art is taking the subway. There's a woman there, and when she looks over, she sees that he's wearing the head of the police officer.
Just for appearances, not for any practical reason. Just wants to look his best.
Yeah, I mean, that way no one's like, hey, that's a headless body. You know?
Well, yeah, because he would clearly be very concerned about that. I mean, look at this whole series of movies so far.
He's always concerned about looking his best, though.
That is true.
You're not wrong. Yeah, okay. All right, so then we cut back to the hospital where we see Burke, again played by Chris Jericho, who's sleeping at the desk. He's woken up by the thunderstorm. In part 2, they had filmed his death scene already, and then when Damien saw the ending of *Malignant*, how they birthed this head out of the back of someone's head, he's like, they did it way better than we did. Let's rewrite the ending. Let's change the ending so the head gets birthed out of Victoria now.
Right.
And so Chris Jericho was no longer around to be around during that scene, so he thought it was fitting to bring him back so he could have another death scene here.
Okay.
which I think is kind of fun. Which I love Chris Jericho because I grew up with wrestling, and he's a wrestling superstar. He hears something going on. He tries to call security for backup. Security guard says he's stuck in the bathroom, so he tells him to wipe his ass and get there pronto. And what he sees when he walks to that room is Art is feeding off of the nurse from the last movie.
Right.
And an umbilical cord type thing is going from the bottom of his head, and Victoria's holding it, and she's suckling on this cord like Art is feeding Victoria.
So wholesome.
It's disgusting. And she looks at Bert and says, hey, I didn't mean to do this. He made me do this. And then turns evil.
She's pretty convincing, too.
You think so?
Yeah, at first it's like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But it's not true. But still, it's like, wow, she's a good actress.
Right. And then he backs up. Then he sees Art's body in the hallway. This distracts him enough that Victoria jumps on him. And then they work to rip his head open. And this is his new death scene.
And they sure have not. I mean, right off the bat, they're not disappointing with the gore, right?
Oh, sure.
This series of movies, I don't know if there will ever be an episode of this franchise that does not blast you with gore in the first few minutes.
Right. And maybe when and if Damien Leone ever steps aside and lets someone else take over.
Oh, yeah, maybe then.
Because he's got a story. He said when Sienna showed up in part 2, when he wrote part 2, he knew how that storyline would end. Mm-hmm. And he said in interviews recently he's not sure if that will end in part 4 or part 5, but he has an end in mind.
Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, I agree. That is good. But maybe after that, it depends how a new director might take it if they keep the series going.
Sure.
Then we see Art and Victoria right in the subway together. They're all bloody. When a guy gets in the train dressed as Art the Clown or the Miles County Killer, whatever they call him.
Why? It's not Halloween. Why is someone dressed as
I mean, it's the day after Halloween.
Oh, I thought it was Christmas.
No. Well, this is 5 years earlier.
Oh, that's
at the end of part 2.
Okay.
So it's still Halloween night.
Right.
He's dressed as Art the Clown, just as Jonathan wanted to dress as Art the Clown.
Okay.
He tells them he wanted to do the blood, but he was afraid to get his suit all dirty. And then we cut to Victoria and Art at this abandoned house, which is their hideout.
Okay.
And he's now got a clean suit on.
That was where the time skip happened. Right.
So that's, again, we explain how each movie, Art's got to get his suit clean again before he starts getting it bloody. Mm-hmm. So we have that contrast.
And it's kind of neat. He's got an assistant now who can talk for the first time. And you haven't had any, in the previous 2 movies, there was no dialogue from that side of the aisle. I mean, unless you count like maybe the Clown Cafe or something.
Sure.
But that was kind of oblique. Whereas here now you've got his direct assistant has a voice. And I think that was an interesting change. And I'm not sure whether I think it was for better or for worse.
Yeah, I'm definitely later on want to get into how it's possible. But when we have our lore dump, we'll get there.
What's possible? Sorry.
The talking.
Why wouldn't it be possible?
Do you want to discuss it now? Because that's not Victoria controlling that body.
Oh, okay. Well, we can talk about it later. Sure.
Okay. So Art seems to get bored, goes up to the attic area, sits in a rocking chair. We see that Victoria's looking at herself in a mirror. She destroys the mirror with her face, saying she used to be hot and now no one's going to fuck her. She then picks up a piece of glass, gets into this disgusting bathtub, and cuts her arms open. Now we're back at present day, and Sienna is getting out of the Sunny Valley Wellness Center. Her Uncle Greg is there to pick her up. On the drive home, she talks about her cousin Gabby, who she calls her partner in crime. Uncle Greg says that all his daughter talks about is Sienna, so be prepared to have her hands full. We get home to find out, yes, it's still Christmas. It's very decorated. Gabby runs to hug Sienna, and if you hadn't noticed, we could see that there's all these scars on Sienna's face as her body did not heal magically from those wounds. They're really there. We see the effects of Terrifier 2. Then we see Aunt Jessica, and if you haven't noticed yet, there's a high percentage of women cast for these movies that all have straight brunette hair.
I did not notice that.
They very much look alike, I think. Well, we got, from the opening scene, we had Jen, then Sienna, Jessica, who's her aunt, and Gabby all have straight black hair. And then in the flashback scene we'll have a little bit later, there's a girl that plays young Sienna, who obviously also has straight black hair, because Sienna has straight black hair. But I feel like throughout the 3 movies, there's been a lot of characters with straight black hair. But just interesting, like David Leone has a type he likes to cast.
I guess so, yeah.
Right. So Sienna gets led to her room, which she says looks like a fairy tale exploded. And Gabby gives her a card that she wrote for her. They have a touching moment and they hug. Back at the hideout, it's been 5 years now. There's a van that says Ironside Demolition. It pulls up to where Art's hiding out. Two guys walk into the place. The younger one is named Dennis, and he seems really afraid. The older guy says that a bunch of kids were kidnapped in the 90s and killed there. And so now people think the place is haunted, but he's just fucking with them. They just scare them when they're getting there. Gabby's helping Sienna unpack when she finds Sienna's diary. Sienna's looking at a picture of her with her father, and we have a flashback where she sees her father drawing superheroes. He says that he will create a girl superhero for her eventually. And as she's about to leave, he remembers, like, oh, I actually did draw one already.
Well,
and shows her.
And they do this whole thing about, oh, you never draw girl superheroes or whatever. It's like, I've noticed this meme before. Like, a lot of people have told me there's no girl superheroes, there's never a girl superhero. And I'm like, what? Have you seen this idea that there's no girl superheroes?
I mean, not that I've taken seriously.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I hear about video games, too, and I'll reference Samus.
Yeah.
And then, like, Samus, I grew up playing Metroid, and Samus is a girl.
Yeah.
And I've even heard the argument, oh, that doesn't count. Why? Because you can't see her face. So just because you can't see the girl's face, it doesn't count? But, no, I mean, I've heard the opposite argument, unfortunately,
really? Where
I've walked into a comic book shop, and I hear people complaining about how there's minority superheroes.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that's annoying. like to hear this conversation when you walk into a store.
No, I just think it's just funny. A lot of times people say there's no girl superheroes, and I'm like, when I was a kid, every single male superhero had a girl counterpart. Yeah.
Sure. Maybe that annoys people.
Maybe.
That they're not a superhero in their own right. They have to be the copy of a man. I don't know.
Maybe.
Wonder Woman's not.
Yeah, I was about to say, there's a couple that aren't, yeah.
Right. Anyway, well, cool fact is that her father is played by Jason Patric. Her father's named Michael. Jason Patric was also in The Lost Boys, where he played a guy named Michael, which is easy to remember since they say the name Michael 114 times in the 97-minute movie, which I loved. Michael, what's wrong, Michael? What's wrong, Michael? You're a fucking vampire, Michael. You're a vampire, Michael. Back with Gabby, she's reading about the Clown Cafe, waking up there encased in glass, and so Sienna snaps out of her memory and takes her diary away. Gabby starts asking questions about it, and Sienna says it's a really bad place, but she doesn't want to think about it anymore. She only wants to have happy thoughts.
She doesn't realize yet that she's kind of got some sort of supernatural thing. Like,
sure,
she's a little bit psychic, right? I mean, if I were a little bit psychic, I'd be super analyzing every dream and everything that I had. Like,
sure.
Oh no, what is this telling me? What's going on?
Yeah, she's probably had a lot of time to think about it, though. Yeah. But unfortunately, she's probably had a lot of counselors telling her what she experienced wasn't real.
Yeah.
Back at the hideout, Dennis inspects upstairs, where he's singing his own twist on Jingle Bells. He finds Art still in the rocking chair, covered with cobwebs, which looks like an homage to Black Christmas, 1974. Downstairs, the older guy is seeing a glowing light and comes into the room to find Victoria looking dead in the bathtub. He starts calling for Dennis, and we see Victoria come up with a shard of glass, which looks like it's covered in crap now, and slices his neck. Then we see Art and Victoria both attacking their visitors. Dennis gets thrown across the room, and then Art gives this big stretch because he's been sitting down for 5 years. He's going to be needing a stretch. Victoria makes it upstairs as Art is stabbing the guy with a screwdriver in one hand, then bites a finger off another. While this is happening, Victoria gets that shard of glass and looks like she's pleasing herself with it.
Yeah.
Which is sitting blood all over the floor. And Art cuts the guy's skin open on his head with a box opener and then peels all the skin away.
I don't understand. Were they in stasis for like years?
That's just like they didn't move.
Just why though? They didn't really explain that.
I guess the demons just wanted to relax.
I guess.
I don't know.
It's strange.
It doesn't make sense, but they just didn't move until someone bothered them. Huh. Sienna's having dinner with her family when they're planning all the fun things they can do over the holidays. Gabby says she likes Sienna's scars, which kind of embarrasses the parents.
Yeah, a little odd.
The father tells Gabby to talk about her scars, which she does until she starts talking a little bit about blood, and the mom gets sick while they're eating. Greg says Christmas hasn't been the same since Gabby stopped believing in Santa Claus, which she says she pretended to believe a lot longer than she really did for their sakes, but she also used it to her advantage to snoop around the house and see what her presents were. She blames her parents for not being good at hiding the presents, and Greg says that he hid it under the floorboards, under the carpet. Which I think is hilarious. Then Sienna has a slight jump that she tries to hide because she has a hallucination of her friend Brooke from the second movie. And she's still all bloody everywhere. She's got part of her skin's missing. It's really gross.
Yeah, you say hallucination, but I don't know if we know whether it's a hallucination or an actual ghost.
Oh, I guess I don't know.
It's hard to tell.
I thought she believes she's sick in the head.
Do we believe that?
I did until you are giving me doubt now.
Yeah, I'm not
There's
sure.
definitely two ways to look at it.
Right. I mean, they thought her dad was crazy too, right? So
You're right. Brooke is still played by Kaylee Hyman, who plays Cindy in this year's Screamboat, which David Howard Thurton is also in. Brooke just keeps on asking her to pass the rice. She's like, I died for you. The least you can do is pass the rice. So annoying.
why would you pass the rice to a dead girl, though?
I really feel like this bowl of rice goes over here, guys. Just
Yeah. Just
they know she jumped. They know something's wrong.
yeah.
We cut to Jonathan, who is now in college. He's roommates with a guy named Cole, who's making out with his girlfriend, Mia. Cole is annoyed, but Mia is really excited to see Jonathan. Cole says she's a big fan of his, though she says she isn't. She corrects to say she's obsessed with the Miles County clown. She does tell Jonathan she knows everything about him and has been following his story for years. Cole says that she's a fangirl, and she tells him to eat her, and he says he will after she gets his autograph. Then we find out that she has a podcast called Graven Image, and she wants him to guest star on it. He doesn't want to, and he gets a phone call from Sienna, and so he says he'll think about it just to get out of the room, and she gets excited because she thinks she's going to have him on her podcast. On the phone, Sienna says that she's just calling to let him know she's at Aunt Jess's house, and they're looking forward to spending Christmas with him. We get footage of her crying and taking medication a lot, like she's flashing what's really going on in her head, but she's telling Jonathan that she's really okay, but she's not.
Okay. Well, maybe she is okay.
Maybe. Then we see Art making some new toys. He's making some kind of Freezomatic 3000 thing. I think that's what they dubbed it in the behind the scenes. Victoria's making a new outfit. He tests his liquid nitrogen shake on the rats, freezing one and smashing it to a bloody pulp, while Victoria seems to be very friendly with the rats.
I just don't like... Where did he get the liquid nitrogen?
I don't know. In the hideout?
Because it looks like
Oh, maybe from the back of that truck.
Wait, which truck?
The truck that the guys came to do the demolition. It was like a work truck. Maybe they carry nitrogen in that work truck.
I don't know. Maybe.
We see Sienna's doing makeup for Gabby, and Gabby again asks about the scars. Sienna tells her she got into a fight, and when Gabby asks, she says that she did win the fight. We cut to a bar where Santa Claus has two women on his lap. Santa is played by Daniel Roebuck, who I know from The Fugitive and its sequel, U.S. Marshals, but was also in Final Destination and Rob Zombie's Halloween. Next to Santa is Smokey, played by Clint Howard, who's been in a lot of horror, such as The Ice Cream Man, Leprechaun 2, also Rob Zombie's Halloween, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4, just name a few. But I've always loved him from his Star Trek appearance in the 1960s as a little kid alien. The two women are a little drunk and they both want to fuck Santa. He says that Mrs. Claus would shank him in his sleep, and the whole time Smokey's trying to offer himself like, I'd fuck you. Because he claims his wife is dead and it won't matter.
Yeah, that scene was funny.
Yeah, definitely. The bartender, Eddie, and Smokey both tell him it must be the outfit, and he agrees, saying they used to dress up as Elvis, and they got him some women all the time. But in Rob Zombie's Halloween, he dressed up as Frankenstein as a monster, which definitely got him laid in that movie. We see Art looking through the bar window, and he gets really excited to see Santa.
And now he's scary, because now we've seen him murder a rat, which is the worst crime that anyone could possibly commit.
More than a little boy?
But a rat, though.
I mean, I guess we saw the rat die.
Yeah.
We saw the remains of the little boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, but he killed the hot blonde in the first movie. That's just unforgivable, man. Sorry. Art runs inside, knocking over the women on his way in, and then they leave. Art gets excited that it's Santa. He pulls on his beard, and Santa tells him, if you don't have a real beard, then you're not the real Santa. Art gets excited. He gets his bag out. Everybody's excited to see what's in his bag, and he pulls out a horn and starts honking it like crazy until the bartender says for him to stop it. And Santa tells them he will buy him a drink.
First mistake.
Oh, sure. I don't know if there's any living through it, though.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Sienna and Jessica stay up late talking and sharing stories about Sienna's mother, and Jessica tells Sienna that everything will eventually get a lot better. Art's trying to show his RD to the bartender, which says Maurice Jackson, which I think is the ID of the officer he killed earlier.
Yeah.
Art then spits his drink in Santa's face, and then while sitting on his lap, wets himself, so he pees on Santa.
Yeah.
And so Santa's ready to kill him, and the other two have to hold him back.
Does seem like something he would do.
Yeah, it's gross. Art then shoots Eddie in the neck and then shoots Smokey. He holds the gun out to Santa's face, and Santa is quick to apologize, said, I'm sorry for whatever happened to you. He's like, hey, remember, we're in the same business. We're here to make people happy. And he offers him his costume to try to make him happy.
Yeah.
And we cut to him being tied up on the chair without his Santa suit on anymore. Art's now wearing it. We see that Art's not going to let him go, though. He brings out that instant freeze toy, sprays Santa's limbs, and starts smashing him with a hammer. He then smashes in his face, rips off the beard so he can have it, because you're not the real Santa if you don't have a real beard.
Yeah.
And then to end it, he rips the nose off of a snowman that's near and shoves it in his face.
And he really kind of looks like a jelly donut in these scenes, because he's kind of like white on the outside and then like red and yummy looking inside. I just want
definitely gross.
I feel like if you take a bite out of him, he would just be
okay.
Sweet as candy.
I'm going to pass. But maybe it's because I just ate.
Yeah, maybe.
Jessica and Greg are talking about how Santa and Gabby are going shopping the next day, and Greg is worried that she might have another episode while she's there just with their daughter. We get a shot of Sienna right in her journal saying that she made it there while laying in bed. And what's funny is this aired in the trailer, and a lot of people on the internet went nuts because they got to see her bare feet.
Oh my gosh.
A certain crowd of people.
Yep, I know some of those people.
We also see that in the journal it is December 21st, and she writes how Brooke visited her. Sienna pulls out a letter from Jonathan, and we get a little bit of lore here. He talks about the little girl was a demon and needs a host of a recently deceased person, and that's how they get into this world. And on interviews online, Damon Leone has confirmed what we might have suspected or weren't sure about so far. But what he says is that Art was a human until he unalived himself in the first movie, which is why I got supernatural at that point, because that's when the demon entered his body.
That was one of the things we discussed as a possibility, right?
Yeah. Exactly. And then he said the little pale girl was a demon. She was able to inhabit Victoria's body, who was not dead yet because of all the trauma that Art had done to her, which made her more susceptible to giving up and just letting a demon in.
But hang on. So when you said earlier something about it's not her controlling the body, but
it's now the pale girl in Victoria.
If we think it's the pale girl specifically.
Well, he confirmed it in an interview.
Okay. They didn't confirm it in the movie itself in any way, did they?
No, Jonathan talks about how the pale girl was trying to get in Sienna. And later on, whatever demon is in Victoria is trying to get in Sienna.
I see.
But Damon Leone confirmed that it is the pale girl in Victoria through interviews.
So the complaint I was going to make here is, if we believe that, then wouldn't that mean that the demon that has gone into Art is now controlling Art, and the original Art is no longer in?
That is correct.
To me, that's strange. I mean, it acts the same way as the old one.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know.
I see what you're saying.
We sure there's not any symbiosis between the host and the parasite here?
I'm not sure of that at all. But Victoria didn't seem like a maniac, psychopathic person before this.
Oh, yeah, she kind of did.
What? So you think that was her at that moment and not the demon in her already?
Well, didn't she have to be recently deceased? Because this is before she died.
He said, but she did. Yeah, no. The demon was in her before she died, according to the interview.
Okay.
Because she had so much trauma inflicted by Art, the demon was able to get inside her.
All right.
Now, we could argue or debate whether or not the demon was inside her when she clawed out the interviewer or not. I don't know.
Can we debate whether the demon is in full control or partial control?
We can. I see what you're saying. You're saying that Art might have a massive influence because he was already evil and acted a certain way, and this demon seems to act just like him.
And I feel like Victoria must have some influence, because some of the things she says, even in these scenes, are references to Victoria's life.
You're right.
Know?
Yeah, like no one will ever fuck me anymore.
Right, and that's why I'm thinking, like, I can see, okay, the demon influences them, but it's not as cut and dried or as black and white as just the demon completely is in control now, and there's nothing left of the host, right?
Okay, I like what you're saying. Yeah, I get that. That makes sense. Okay, then we cut to the mall where Sienna and Gabby are shopping. There's a mall Santa there who takes a break, and all the elves have to let the children know that the Santa gets to take a break. Santa finds out from Gabby that Jonathan has changed a lot in the last 5 years because he no longer wears all black and he doesn't listen to death metal anymore. Then the Christmas music changes to the Clown Cafe music, including screams in the background.
But it was really subtle at first.
It was. It still sounded like the Christmas music.
Yeah, and then like I noticed there was something familiar about it, and then when she stops and listens, that was when I was like, wait a minute, what is that? What is that song? I know that song.
Yeah, it was done really well.
Yeah.
She looks around. No one else hears it. And then she sees a creepy looking Santa with a plastic face on and some visible blood. And she just has this psychic connection to know it's Art.
Yeah.
Gabby comes around but can't see anything. And so Sienna wasn't sure. Did she really see Art or did she hallucinate him? Because she thinks she's crazy.
Yeah.
We cut to Jonathan listening to that podcast where one of the hosts believes that Sienna killed everybody and only got away with the murders because Jonathan testified on her behalf in court. Then the podcast is interrupted when he gets a phone call, and we cut to him meeting Sienna at a restaurant. Jonathan doesn't understand why she wanted to see him, and she says she just misses him and wants to ask him to visit the family earlier. And I don't get that. Like, I don't know, maybe she's not as close as they were at one point. Because if my brother called me and was like, hey, you want to go out to a restaurant? I'd be like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, I felt like this whole few scenes of him, I felt like he was actively avoiding her.
Yeah.
And I didn't quite understand why. I mean, I'm a little confused about it.
Yeah. So she wants him to go over earlier, and he says he can't because he's invited to a party that evening. That's when Cole shows up, who, in my opinion, I think I like the character Cole. It's Mia who drives me crazy. And he seems very friendly and nice to Sienna.
Right.
When Mia shows up, she starts acting kind of stalkerish, and he tries to say, oh, we need to leave. But she keeps begging Sienna to be on the podcast, and Sienna snaps at her, saying...
Understandably.
Right. She's like, oh, you want to know what I've been going through? Well, I've been in and out of psychiatric hospitals for the last 5 years. I see my dead loved ones on a daily basis, and every time I see my scars, I think that this sick fuck ruined my life. Yeah, which is, you know...
I do think it's extremely strange to fangirl over, like, murder. You know, like, that's a weird thing to...
Sure.
Really bizarre.
They definitely are a true crime podcast, but to fangirl over the murderer... I mean, a lot of people in jail do get pen pals and fans that write them.
Yeah, that's already strange, but it's even stranger if you go to the victim like, oh, it's so cool that your family died. Tell me more about your awesome family deaths.
You're
wow.
correct. Yeah, she seems... messed up. So she runs and Jonathan follows her to ask her what's wrong with her. She tells him that she saw him at the mall today. He asks if she could be sure, and she tells him that she isn't sure of anything. She says that they both know it isn't over, but Jonathan disagrees. He says, you cut his fucking head off. He walks away, and she thinks he's shutting her out, which he seems to be.
Yeah.
Jonathan says that Art would have to be stupid to seek her out since she was the one that killed him, but she points out that he said in his letter to her that they want Sienna to be the host of the demon.
For some reason. Oh, I guess because she has power.
She has some kind of power,
yeah,
right?
And they would gain that. Somewhere around here was also where I started to notice, like, I know this is a strange thing to say, but the wardrobe in these movies is really good. Like,
yeah, I do like her outfits.
I just felt like the outfits people were wearing were interesting and eye-catching. And,
yeah.
And I just caught my attention several times in a row.
Yeah, I like the sweater that she gets in a little bit. Even in the dream, she's wearing a different sweater in that dream that she has. I like that one a lot. Yeah.
She seems really fashionable.
Yeah, I think the wardrobe department went a notch up. And I think it's because he got to spend more money on hire more cast and crew.
That must be it, yeah.
Which I think is really cool. It benefited the film. We go back to Art in the plastic mask, which he takes off for our benefit, it feels like. So we know, hey, it's really Art.
Yeah, it's not just a hallucination.
Sienna goes over more lore from the letter, and they think that's why Victoria disappeared that night is because she became a host. Jonathan asks what she wants to do, leave town, call the police, or tell their aunt and uncle. She says that no one would believe her, and she says she wants to go back to the Terrifier because the weapon she used last time is there, which she buried, and it might be the only thing to defeat him. At the mall, the families are still waiting while Santa's on break, and Art uses this opportunity to sit in the chair, which he seems to love. He brought his own bag of tricks, and a little girl runs up and he gives her a doll. I was so afraid she was going to bring out like an axe or something.
Of course.
And then many other kids get excited because Santa's giving out gifts. While all the kids run up there, the elf tells the security guard that Art isn't their Santa, who their Santa's named Bill. So the security guard removes Art but doesn't make him take his bag of tricks with him. So when he's getting escorted out, some kid named Corey runs up, opens a gift, and the package explodes.
Which I did not see coming. A bomb was not the way I would have expected Art to kill people.
Yeah.
Very odd.
Well, I mean, he's not above killing people with guns, so...
Yeah, I suppose that's true. I guess it just goes to show you can never predict what he's going to do.
Right.
Just real quick, wasn't there... It looked like, once again, we had a situation where little boys get killed... and the little girls are safe.
Well, we don't know the genders of all the kids, but I think two of the people that exploded were girls.
You think? Okay.
No, there's 6 victims in the end, I think they report. Or is it 5? One of them was Santa. I think 2 were little girls.
Okay.
But
well, I could be wrong.
But yeah, I get what you're saying. Back at the dorm room, Jonathan's now pissed, throwing stuff around, breaking stuff in his room. Sienna comes home to try to be sneaky in her own way. She puts a present behind the tree, but Gabby catches her. Gabby asks for her, and she's told not to touch it. So we know what's in that present. She got the sword from the Terrifier, hid it in a Christmas present. I would have loved to have seen her go back to the Terrifier and recover it. But that was something cut out of the script for timing.
I thought that too. I didn't understand why they left that out. That was strange to me.
And a lot of, in interviews, people ask, the movie's so long, and he says, well, in most slashers, we get a lot of killing, but most of the deaths are instant.
Yeah.
Slash to the throat, stab to the gut, and it's fast. Where these deaths are drawn out long pieces of art, and they take up a big chunk of the movie.
Art. Oh.
Yeah. And so he had to figure out what to cut. But it did feel left out to me that we didn't get to see her go back to the Terrifier and recover that sword.
Yeah. No, I agree. But like you said, it was already a long movie.
And then we see Art in that van that he got, pulling up to the Christmas party that Jonathan's going to be at. We see Jessica and Sienna. Jessica asks Sienna how Jonathan's doing, and she tells him that he's going to a Christmas party, which she's shocked about. She thinks he wasn't that sociable. Then they're making food, and Gabby mentions that Sienna doesn't like cereal, and Greg makes this big deal about who doesn't like cereal. But if he had been at that clown cafe, he wouldn't like cereal either, I tell you what. Sienna invites Gabby upstairs to play board games, and when she gets up there, Gabby's trying to pick out a game, and Sienna points out that she never told her that she didn't like cereal, which meant Gabby read her diary.
Yeah.
She asked Gabby how much, and she said she read the whole thing, and she wants to ask if all of that is real. And Sienna tells her that it's not, that she's sick. She sees things that aren't there, but she's talking to people to get her help. And Gabby's disappointed because she thinks it would have been really cool and badass if she'd really chopped an evil clown's head off.
I mean, she knows that she's not crazy. I mean, the fact that she went to get the sword, she knows she's not crazy.
Yeah.
But she's telling Gabby that it's all lies in order to protect her, I guess. But you're not protecting her since she's obviously going to be a target, right?
Yeah, but she seems to still doubt herself, even though she knows what's going on.
Yeah.
And it could be because for 5 years, she probably had professional people telling her, you're crazy.
And it didn't convince her enough not to be already taking measures, though.
I hear you. Sienna makes her promise not to tell anyone about the diary, and they pinky swear, and then they say they'll play Pictionary. Then we cut to Cole and Mia. Mia's complaining that Sienna snapped at her because she believes it's been 5 years ago and she should get over it. And she says that she's doing her a favor by inviting her in the podcast because one thing that people do to get over it is to talk about their feelings. And Cole sarcastically is like, how selfless of you.
At this point, I'm like, oh my God, what is taking Art so long to kill her?
I know. But we do see Art sneaking around the dorm room.
And I was so relieved. I was like standing up. I was going, yes, 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 finally.
Mia goes on about how she would love to meet Art because he's just as famous as Jack the Ripper. And Art seems so flattered, like, stop it. It's just hilarious. She says she'd love to know what it's like for him to breathe on her and what he smells like. And he does this like sniff in his armpit. Like, what do I smell like? What's cool about this is that in an interview with Damien Leone, he said that he studied pictures of Jack the Ripper murder scenes for the bedroom scene in part 2. That was like inspiration for that one. So I think that's an interesting callback. Mia then says she wants to know what it's like to be in the presence of that kind of evil. And I'm like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, good for her, right?
Yeah.
She's going to get what she wants.
Cole thinks that Mia sounds like she wants to fuck him. And she says she doesn't. And Art makes this motion like, well, who wants you anyway?
Yeah, like he's really disappointed.
Yeah,
he's
right?
mad. He's like, although he probably wouldn't anyway.
Right.
After he killed her.
Then Mia, in an effort to get Cole to try to get Jonathan to get Sienna on the podcast, starts dry humping him to persuade him to do so. So that Sienna and Gabby say that they need more people to play the game. Gabby tries to call her dad over, but he's busy watching the news that reported that 5 people died and 6 are badly injured in the explosion of the Centerville Mall. A witness that is being interviewed is played by Tom Savini, who says he was way too close to the explosion. And Tom Savini is famous for his special effects in movies like Friday the 13th and Friday the 13th Part 2, Dawn of the Dead. He has 366 movie credits according to IMDb. Guy does a lot of special effects.
Just one day of the year he did an extra one.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, he's been doing it since the 70s. So
that was a joke.
I got it. So Tom Savini kind of plays out the events for people, saying there's a guy dressed as Santa giving out gifts. When security pulled him away, that's when the explosion happens. Santa starts to panic, saying that he's here and that they're not safe. Jessica and Greg are not happy that she's scaring Gabby. Per her request, Greg calls Jonathan and she takes the phone away. Jonathan agrees to come over, and when he asks, she tells him that she did get it, and he means the sword. We cut to later when Jessica says that she gave Sienna some drugs to sleep and says that Greg was right that Sienna might not be okay. Greg says he'll talk about it when he gets back because he's on his way to go pick up Jonathan. And Gabby asks her mom if Sienna's going back to the hospital. Then we cut to Cole and Mia in the shower having sex. And it's definitely steamy. And the camera pans around to see Art the Clown using a urinal.
It's a threesome.
And he's shaking that thing like crazy. And at least he washes his hands afterwards.
That's good. Yeah.
Right. Mia can hear the chainsaw start up as Art breaks through, chopping Cole's hand and one of his legs. When Cole can't stand anymore, Art starts laughing before turning to destroy Mia's breasts. Then he cuts into her head, putting it right into her face, and we see that she's still alive, so Art gives her some of his Christmas sunglasses, which are definitely green.
Ah,
right?
Yes.
And then Art saws right through her midsection.
Well, he also stares her in the eyes.
Yeah.
So that she gets to look into his eyes.
Nice.
As she dies and gets her wishes.
Yay.
To come true.
Then Art returns to Cole, just pulling off the rest of his leg because it was falling off anyway. And then he starts chopping to his genitals before flipping him over to make sure he gets the job done right.
Yeah.
Starts chopping his genitals again. Then he saws his arm off before cutting from his nuts to his chest. After it, Art lays on the ground, making like snow angels, but with blood on the floor.
Blood angels. Yeah.
Yeah. But in a public space, I wouldn't touch the floor.
Yeah. It's questionable.
Yeah. Gabby gets up in the middle of the night to go downstairs, and we cut to Greg in his truck talking to Jonathan, but it doesn't sound like him. He's on the phone, saying he's there to pick him up. Then we cut back to the flashback where Sienna and her father, when she first gets a painting of the Valkyrie-looking golden-armored fighter he drew for her, he explains that the fiery sword has special powers, and that she could use it to defeat evil and can never be hurt by it. He tells her that since it's her character, she gets to name her, and when she grabs the picture, her dad starts having flashes of the battle that happens in part 2, and he seems to not being able to let go of the painting. This is probably where he started losing it from like seeing the future. We see Sienna is having a dream where she is hearing something. Michael tells her that he is always with her, and she turns around now in her grown-up form, and she is in this dark area. She sees a statue of Mary, but it is humanoid and it moves, and it's holding some creature by a chain, like a leash around the neck, who is like a man in the iron mask, who is making her armor set, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
That something growls at her, and Mary pulls the leash tight, and Sienna wakes up. That's the scene where she had the really nice sweater that I liked.
It's interesting. Like, that's a scene you could spend some time trying to analyze.
Oh, big time.
Like, is that supposed to be, I mean, who knows?
The force of good?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem that good.
It was making her armor for her, I think.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Sienna gets out of bed to hear what sounds like Greg and Jessica talking about smothering her in her sleep so they can get rid of her bullshit. But when she gets downstairs, it's Victoria doing both voices. Victoria is also wearing a crown of thorns at this scene right here. Sienna is shocked to see that Art is there as well, and Greg is hanging on the wall, headless because his head's on top of the tree, and his guts are hanging out because they've slit his stomach wide open. He's hanging there by Christmas lights. There's so much going on.
There is so much going on. For example, why the crown of thorns? What are they saying?
I don't know.
Like,
well, yeah, Victoria uses it to say, "You're no savior," but then puts the crown of thorns on her like she is the savior.
Maybe.
Right?
I guess maybe that's all they're saying with it. I wasn't sure how to parse all that.
Right.
And the other thing we didn't mention was the Terrifier Christmas song. It was a whole musical number with the Terrifier Christmas.
Explain it more, because I'm blanking right now.
They had a song that was about the movie.
Okay.
And it was a Terrifier Christmas, and they played it during, it was a whole montage thing. And I thought that was interesting because I remember that, they had the whole Clown Cafe song in the previous movie. So it seems like this is becoming a thing, that every movie has a song.
Sure. I did notice it getting played in the credits. I guess I didn't pay attention to it getting played earlier.
No, they played it during the earlier sequence here.
Okay. So she screams for Gabby to run, and they start fighting. Art throws her into a table. This was a stunt that she begged or asked Damien Leone to let her do, but he said the stunt double had to do this one. He did let her do a lot of her stunts, so she was trying to always do her stunts. Art eventually knocks her out with a mallet, and she wakes up duct taped to a chair. Jessica is also duct taped to a chair in this scene. Victoria is taking pictures with a Polaroid camera, and Art is playing with Greg's insides. Victoria then grabs the presents and starts reading who they're from and opening them up like they're hers. Jessica starts screaming, "Where's my daughter?" And that's when Art unwraps a present on the table, which is a human head with flesh barely on it in a bird cage with rats inside eating the flesh.
Yay, happy rats.
Both of them start screaming, and Jessica's denying that it's Gabby. Art hits Sienna over the head with a mallet and tells her to shh, but without actually saying it, just motioning it, because it's Art. And then Victoria holds Jessica still as Art puts a tube down her throat, shoving it down enough for her to bleed, and then forcing it down even further with a hammer. Victoria then pulls one of the rats, puts it down the tube, and uses a flame to incentivize the rat to go deeper.
Rat torture. It's a classic.
Victoria then slits Jessica's throat so the rat can crawl free.
That must have been fun for the rat. Humans usually have all the fun torturing and killing
They
people.
used a fake rat with some fishing line to pull it along and out through the throat.
Aw, they should have found a rat who was into that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Victoria moves the tape off Sienna's mouth, tells her that she's no savior, puts the crown of thorns on her head, and she shoves down pretty hard. Victoria, or really the pale girl inside her, tells Sienna that she's going to take everything she loves before invading her flesh, just like she did to Victoria.
I don't remember if you just mentioned this and I wasn't paying attention, but is she wearing the clown outfit from the guy on the train?
Art was wearing the clown outfit from the guy on the train.
I thought he was wearing his normal outfit.
Well, his normal outfit at the beginning of the movie was all bloody. So the guy on the train had the clean outfit.
Okay.
And that's where Art all of a sudden had a clean outfit.
I wasn't paying enough attention to that, because now Victoria has a clown outfit too.
Then I don't know where she got it from.
Maybe they had time to take the other outfit to the dry cleaners.
Maybe. Well, maybe they did that in part 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Then she tells her she has a confession to make, looks at the fleshy human skull, and tells her that it isn't really Gabby. Art then comes out, showing Gabby her own dead mother while laughing. Sienna says let Gabby go and they can have her, and Victoria replies that she already has her. Art pulls out glasses and places them on the skull, and we see that Sienna hears Jonathan's voice talking at her. And Sienna yells Jonathan and starts thrashing around like crazy. In the behind the scenes, Laura Levera kept telling the crew to add more tape because she's just going to break out of it too easily.
Yeah.
They didn't believe her, and she ripped out several times when she's thrashing because she wanted to play the person legit. Yeah. So when they wrapped her 3 times, she broke the chair.
Oh, no.
Trying to get out, and she cut her foot on a piece of glass that was on the ground from an ornament. So she really went all out for that role.
Yeah, they should have found some, bondage experts to help them do it properly.
So this is the second scene that if it's real, I think they should have shown in the movie. Damien Leone claims that it's a real death and Jonathan really was dead, and he didn't show his death because he couldn't show him killing such a beloved character. But for me, I think it's BS, and they're lying to us about Jonathan being dead, and we'll see him in the next one. And I think he's sticking to that lie until we see him again, alive.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Then Victoria tells Sienna that there's no hope, there's no God, and just let her in, and then she grabs Sienna by the neck. Sienna's eyes start to glow white. The room gets a lot of wind. The lights flicker. As her eyes start to get red, Sienna starts to fight back. This seems to transfer back to Victoria's body. Victoria says that Sienna is strong, which is why she chose her.
Well, she says, now I know why they chose you.
Okay.
Which was interesting, because I was curious who they was.
I don't know. Yeah, I missed that.
Okay. That's what I heard anyway.
And adds that Gabby is the only one that's preventing Sienna from letting go. So Art grabs Gabby and puts a knife at her throat. Gabby says that she's sorry that Sienna didn't get to open her present, and Victoria stops and says, well, that isn't fair. Ask which one's the present is. She says it's the ones with angels on it, and she's like, of course it would be angels. So she goes and smashes Sienna's hands before cutting them.
It's a good thing that evil is gullible, huh?
Yeah. Even though her hands are like badly hurt, she has trouble unwrapping the present. But when she does, Gabby asks if she likes it. She says it's the best present ever. Pulls out the sword and slashes Art's neck right there.
Which apparently now she has perfectly usable hands despite everything. I think
the sword heals her, man. It's gotta.
I guess.
It's gotta. The force of good's trying to help her.
Yeah.
Art squirms on the ground, holding his throat. Sienna pulls the blade. She grabs the sword, throws it like a javelin right into Victoria's chest. She pulls the blade back out and tells her, "How does this taste?" Shoving it down her throat. Then pulls out the sword again and chops her head off. So and I think we see the demon leave her body.
There also was a good comment here. When Victoria grabbed the package and said, "shitty wrapping job."
Yeah.
That was a clue, right?
Right.
And I missed it at the time.
Oh, yeah.
But in retrospect...
I agree with you.
We know why it was a shitty wrapping job.
Right, exactly. Gabby runs to hug Sienna, and Sienna raises a sword. But fortunately, she looks before slashing at Gabby. Unlike in The Descent, where June attacks her friend first without looking, which I might still be upset about. Sienna asks her how she knew, and she tells her that she opened it because she's always been a snoop.
Yeah.
Then suddenly Art is alive and running at Sienna with a chainsaw. She blocks with a sword. She tells Gabby to run. And they have this amazing sword versus chainsaw battle, which really reminds me of Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2. I love that one.
Maybe it's an intentional reference.
It could be. I don't know. I didn't see it talked about in the... No. I'll take it back. He does talk about Chainsaw Massacre Part 1 and the way that like Gunnar Hansen danced around with the chainsaw. So I don't know if it is an intentional reference, but the battling with the chainsaw is more like a Part 2 thing, which I like. But maybe, yeah. So they battle for a long time here. Gabby cries over her mother. We see Victoria's blood start to spread around the ground. At one point, Sienna grabs Art by the balls and squeezes, and he pretends not to like it. Just kidding. So he hits the ground in pain. They fight to get their weapons back because they both lose their weapons at some point. Art uses Greg's intestines to strangle Sienna. She ends up biting through it, freeing herself. She picks up the sword and stabs him in the gut. Gabby is worried about all the blood around her, but doesn't seem to move away. Art's eyes start to go a little hazy and white over, and she shoves the sword deeper. Then we notice that Victoria's secret must be that her blood is made of acid. And the floor disappears and opens a portal to hell, which Gabby is holding on to. Sienna, I guess, thinks the only thing she has to hand to her for reach is the sword, and hands her the handle and holds on to the blade. But of course the blade, with her weight, just slices through her hands.
Right.
So not only does she lose Gabby, she loses the blade, and the portal to hell closes.
It's amazing she lost both.
Yeah.
That's like, holy crap.
Then she looks up to see that Art has escaped through the window, and now she's sitting there swearing that she's going to get Gabby back. She will find her and get her back.
I felt like this was a very Empire Strikes Back kind of ending, you know. It seemed very, very dark, and I guess we're supposed to draw hope from Jonathan's prophecy that as long as she's alive, there's still hope or something.
Yeah, but if Jonathan is dead, I don't know if he is or not, unless the movie picks up right where this ended, I don't see her not being in jail, because there's no one there to defend her anymore. And no one's going to believe her that some mystical clown came and killed all of her family. They're going to think she did it.
Right, yeah.
But her hands heal from the wound of the sword. That's a nice little detail. She looks at her hands. Yeah. They seal up because the sword can't hurt her.
Right.
At least not permanently. Then we cut to Art waiting for the bus. He's out of the Santa suit. We did see the Santa hat was left in the house. He's back in just his Art the Clown costume. And Silent Night plays. Then we cut to the bus driver who's on the way to pick him up, singing along Silent Night. And the sole passenger is reading a book called The Ninth Circle.
By Rosemary Castevet.
Right.
Yep.
So the Ninth Circle is a reference to one of the early Art shorts. But Rosemary Castevet is definitely a reference to Rosemary's Baby, which I love.
It's awesome.
The bus driver realizes that she's reading, says that, hey, if you're reading, just tell me to shut up next time. And she's like, no, it's fine. This book's just a lot creepier than I anticipated. He says he doesn't really like horror. He's more of a rom-com guy, but he thinks that Frankenstein is a classic.
Frankenstein is a classic romantic comedy?
No, that's not what he meant. He's saying he doesn't like horror, but that's a horror movie that he could stand, is Frankenstein, because it's a classic. But I get what you're saying. Well, I mean, some takes. Yeah, maybe. All right, I don't know. So the bus picks up Art. The woman is freaked out by all the blood on Art. The bus driver asks Art if he's drunk. He pulls out his horn with a really big smile before squeezing it, and we fade to black. And where we play the song, It's a Terrifier Christmas.
And I knew from when they first played, I'm like, that's going to be the closing credits music. And sure enough. Although actually, the next song they had after that was also really good. In the credits, it was also really good.
Yeah.
They have some good music in these. It's like the song after that, if you didn't stay that long, was some kind of retro wave, synth wave kind of song. And stuff that's supposed to sound like 80s music, but it's actually way better quality than the kind of music people made in the 80s. So
I didn't pay attention enough to make notes about it, I guess.
I don't know. I enjoyed the music, so I was still watching the credits.
Nice.
Yeah.
How do you feel like Terrifier expanded on the mythology?
Expanded on the mythology. Well, I think it's interesting that they explored more about the whole demon thing, right? And they've said a little bit more about that. I feel like the movie's becoming Hellraiser. Right? I mean, it's starting to become more and more of a sort of portal to hell, kind of prevent the demons from coming back kind of thing. And you know what I mean?
Sure.
It's starting to have more and more of a Hellraiser feel, I feel like. Even the protagonist has some similarities to the girl from Hellraiser. What was it?
Kirsty?
Yeah.
Kirsty.
Yeah. I think it's starting to lean in that direction.
Okay.
I would say this movie was not as good as Terrifier 2.
I agree with you, but better than 1.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's my favorite orders. 2, 3, 1 at this moment. Yeah.
Yeah. I just think it did have a plot, but it didn't feel as like they didn't do as good a job as they did in 2 of really telling you a compelling story where you're really rooting for the characters and then they get this really spectacular sort of ending and everything. Like it didn't. But again, that's probably because it's more of an Empire Strikes Back, and maybe 4 will be more spectacular.
Maybe. Do you like how Sienna changed because of the events of part 2?
I felt like she changed about the way you would expect.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it was that noteworthy. I mean, it's kind of typical horror movie. Oh, they have scars, physical and mental. And
sure.
I think it's also a little bit tropey to have them a psych ward. Again, Hellraiser. Kirsty was in a psych ward, right?
Sure.
The next one. And to have them being told it was all lies. And all of that was kind of expected.
Okay. I'm thinking of, because some of that mirrors with A Nightmare on Elm Street. But by the time we get back to Nancy Thompson, she's this badass who's coped with everything and is ready to help the next kids. I feel like that is more of a trope I see often where after the effects, the person is more badass because they're ready for them.
I see.
And not this doubting themselves kind of thing.
Okay, yeah, no, I can see that, especially since they played her as a supernatural hero in the previous one, that now they're showing her having weaknesses and not just strengths. That's true. That's an interesting variation, because then it lets you ask the question, will she be stronger or weaker in the 4th one?
Did you like Victoria or the pale girl more?
Oh, definitely Victoria.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I like the fact that she can talk and can be a smartass and say stupid things. I kind of like that.
Okay.
I mean, it's, the cheesy horror movies, you like the cheesy lines.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's definitely true. How'd you like the Christmas setting?
I felt like it was almost irrelevant.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it was kind of part of the advertisement for it is, oh, hey, it's Art the Clown in a Santa suit, but like, it didn't really matter. I mean, it was the same movie it would have been in any other context. You know what I mean?
I get what you're saying. All right. Yeah. I'm curious, they've done Halloween twice.
Right.
Now they've done Christmas once. Will they go to a different holiday, or will it just not matter? I'm curious.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, they could do Easter,
Yeah. Critters 2 did Easter.
Oh, they did? Okay.
I think Maniac Cop 2 also.
Well, what's a holiday no one's done?
Oh, I don't know.
Probably doesn't exist, right?
May the 4th be with you.
There you go. Well, Pie Day.
Pie Day. Oh, there you go. All right. Well, thank you for talking to me about this today, Jesse.
Always a pleasure.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. We have new episodes every Monday. Merry Christmas to everybody, and bye.
And remember, the hallucinations are probably real.
Probably.